Fear is the greatest enemy of success. It whispers lies in your mind, convincing you that you are not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough. It paralyzes your actions, crushes your dreams, and keeps you shackled to a life of mediocrity. But let me tell you something. Fear is nothing but an illusion. It has no power except the power you give it. Look around you. Every great success story is a story of someone who faced fear and destroyed it. They felt the same doubts, the same insecurities, the same hesitation, but instead of surrendering, they made a decision to move forward in spite of fear, and that decision changed everything. You must understand this. Fear is a liar. It feeds on your doubts and thrives in your hesitation. The moment you take action, fear begins to die. Every time you push forward, every time you step out of your comfort zone, fear loses its grip. It cannot survive in the presence of courage. How do you kill fear? You act. You stop waiting for the perfect moment because it will never come. You stop overthinking because doubt will only grow stronger. You move. You take that first step. You force yourself forward, and you do it again and again until fear has no place left in your life. Let me ask you, how long will you let fear control you? How many dreams will you sacrifice? How many opportunities will you let slip away? The time to act is now. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. Fear is nothing. You are everything. Stand up, take charge, and kill the fear. Fear is the most deceptive force that has ever existed. It is not real in the physical sense, yet it controls more lives than any tangible enemy ever could. Fear is a trick played by the mind, a shadow cast by doubts, insecurities, and past failure. It whispers lies so convincingly that most people accept them as truth. But the moment you recognize fear for what it truly is, an illusion, you begin to strip it of its power. You start to see that the walls it builds around you are not made of stone but of smoke, and the only thing holding you back is your own willingness to believe in them. Think about the last time you felt fear gripping you. Your heart pounded, your palms sweat, and your thoughts raced with 1,000 what-ifs. But what actually happened? Did the worst-case scenario unfold exactly as your fear had predicted? Most of the time, fear magnifies problems, making them seem larger than they truly are. It paints a picture so terrifying that you hesitate, you stall, and eventually you convince yourself that staying where you are is safer than moving forward. But safety is an illusion, just like fear itself. There is no safety in stagnation. There is no security in inaction. There is only wasted time, wasted potential, and wasted life. Fear tricks you into believing that discomfort is danger, that failure is fatal, and that rejection is unbearable. But discomfort is how you grow. Failure is how you learn, and rejection is just redirection towards something better. Fear distorts your perception, making minor setbacks feel like catastrophes and temporary pain feel like permanent suffering. It keeps you trapped in your own mind, running in circles, looking for an escape that doesn't exist because the only way out is through. The moment you confront fear, it begins to shrink. The moment you refuse to be controlled by it, it loses its hold over you. The most powerful thing you can do is question your fear. When fear tells you that you're not good enough, ask yourself, who decides that? When fear warns you that you will fail, ask yourself, what if I succeed? When fear urges you to stay in your comfort zone, remind yourself that nothing great was ever achieved from a place of comfort. Fear survives on unquestioned acceptance. It thrives when you take it at face value, but the second you challenge it, you expose its weakness. You realize that fear is nothing more than a programmed response, a habit formed over time. And like any habit, it can be broken. Think of the people who have achieved greatness. Do you believe they never felt fear? Do you think they were born with an immunity to doubt? No. They felt the same fear that you feel, but they refused to let it dictate their actions. They moved forward despite it, and in doing so, they proved that fear is powerless against action. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. Fear wants you to wait. It tells you that you need more time, more preparation, more reassurance. But waiting does not eliminate fear, it feeds it. The longer you wait, the stronger fear becomes. The more you hesitate, the more control it gains. You must break the cycle. You must understand that fear will never leave you completely. It will always try to creep back in, whispering doubts and making excuses. Your job is to act anyway. Your job is to step forward with courage, not because you don't feel fear, but because you refuse to let fear decide your fate. What is fear really stopping you from? The answer is simple: your own potential. Fear is the only thing standing between you and the life you were meant to live. It is the barrier between dreams and reality, between mediocrity and greatness. But it is not real. It is a story you have told yourself, a script you have followed without question. The moment you rewrite that script, the moment you decide that fear is no longer in charge, everything changes. Look back at your life and count the moments fear has stolen from you, the opportunities you passed up, the risks you didn't take, the dreams you left on the shelf because fear convinced you that you weren't ready. Now imagine where you would be today if you had taken those chances. Imagine how far you could have come if fear had not been part of the equation. That regret, that what if, is far more painful than any temporary discomfort fear tries to protect you from. Because the truth is, fear does not protect you, it limits you. It is not your ally, it is your enemy. When you strip fear down to its core, you see that it has no real foundation. It is not based on truth, it is based on assumption. It is not a warning of real danger, but a projection of imaginary failure. It is not a fact, it is a feeling. And feelings change the moment you decide to change them. You have the power to choose courage over fear, action over hesitation, belief over doubt. You have the power to step into the life you were meant to live. But that power only becomes real when you take the first step. The greatest illusion fear creates is the idea that you need to feel ready before you act. But readiness is a lie. No one is ever fully ready. Readiness is a byproduct of action, not a prerequisite for it. The moment you move forward, you become ready. The moment you step outside of your comfort zone, you prove to yourself that fear was never real in the first place. It was just a barrier made of thin air, dissolving the second you walked through it. Fear does not control you unless you allow it to. It does not own you unless you hand it the keys to your mind. You are stronger than fear. You are bigger than doubt. You are more powerful than any illusion trying to hold you back. And the moment you realize that, fear ceases to exist. Because fear only thrives in the absence of action, and when you take action, when you move forward, when you refuse to let fear decide your future, you take back control. Fear is not real, it never was, and the second you decide to stop believing in it, you are free. Fear is not a force of nature. It is a parasite that feeds on your hesitation. It does not have power on its own. It cannot control you unless you allow it to. Fear latches onto the moments when you stop to think too long, when you overanalyze, when you tell yourself you need more time. The longer you wait, the stronger it becomes. The more you hesitate, the more fear wraps itself around your mind, whispering doubts, planting insecurities, making excuses sound like logic. And before you know it, hesitation has become a habit, a way of life, a pattern that keeps you from ever taking the leap toward the life you truly want. Think about it. How many times have you wanted to take action only to stop yourself at the last second? You had the idea, you felt the energy, you were ready to move, but then the hesitation crept in. You told yourself you needed to think about it a little longer, maybe sleep on it, maybe wait until the timing was better. But the truth is, the timing was already perfect the moment the thought entered your mind. That was the moment you should have acted. That was the moment you should have silenced the hesitation and moved forward with full force. Because hesitation is not caution, it is fear in disguise. It is fear pretending to be wisdom, telling you that waiting is the smart thing to do, but waiting is never smart when it comes to taking control of your destiny. Waiting is what keeps you trapped in the same cycle, living the same life, making the same excuses, watching opportunities pass by as others seize them. Hesitation is the breeding ground of doubt. The longer you hesitate, the more your mind fills with reasons why you should not take action. You start imagining all the ways things could go wrong. You start questioning your abilities. You start listening to the voice that tells you you're not ready yet. And soon, the idea that once ignited your passion now feels like a distant dream. Something that might have been possible, but now feels out of reach. But nothing has changed except your perspective. Nothing has actually stopped you except your own hesitation. The world did not put up a wall. No one blocked your path. It was you. You gave fear time to grow, and now it feels bigger than before. But it was never big to begin with. You made it big by standing still, by giving it space to expand, by allowing hesitation to be the pause that turned into paralysis. Fear only wins when you let hesitation keep you from acting. Fear does not attack those who move forward relentlessly. It does not stand a chance against those who take action despite the doubts in their minds. Fear is powerless against movement, against momentum, against bold decisions made without hesitation. When you act quickly, when you commit without second-guessing, fear does not have the time to settle in. It does not have the chance to take root. The moment you feel the urge to act, the moment you get that instinct, that spark of inspiration, that surge of motivation, that is when you must strike. That is when you must make the call, take the step, speak the words, do whatever needs to be done before fear has a chance to stop you. Because if you don't, hesitation will creep in, and once it does, fear will take over. You have seen it happen in your own life. You have experienced the moments when you let hesitation steal your courage. You have watched as opportunities slipped away because you waited too long to take action. You have felt the regret of knowing that you could have done more, that you should have taken the leap, that you were capable but let fear convince you otherwise. And if you continue down this path, if you allow hesitation to be your default response, you will find yourself looking back on a life filled with unrealized potential. A life where fear made all the decisions because you hesitated long enough for it to do so. Every second of hesitation is a second where fear grows stronger. Every moment you spend debating with yourself is a moment fear gains the upper hand. Every time you pause and question whether or not you should take action, you are allowing fear to manipulate you into inaction. Fear loves when you hesitate because it knows that hesitation is the first step toward giving up. It knows that the more you wait, the less likely you are to ever make a move. And that is how fear wins, by convincing you to stay still while life moves on without you. But you are not here to live a life ruled by hesitation. You are not here to let fear dictate your actions. You are here to break the cycle, to make bold moves, to step into the unknown without looking back. You must train yourself to act without hesitation. You must teach yourself that the moment you feel resistance, the moment fear tries to slow you down, that is the exact moment you must push forward with even greater force. You must recognize hesitation as the enemy and treat it as such. When you feel the urge to hesitate, remind yourself that this is fear trying to take control, and then move. Move before the hesitation turns into doubt. Move before the doubt turns into excuses. Move before the excuses turn into regret. There is no reward for hesitation. There is no success in waiting. There is no greatness in standing still while others take action. The only way to win is to move, to decide, to commit. You must build the habit of instant action, the habit of trusting yourself enough to take the leap without needing endless reassurance, the habit of believing that forward motion, even if imperfect, is always better than standing still. Because fear cannot survive when you act with speed, with decisiveness, with a refusal to hesitate. Fear needs time to grow, but when you move fast, it never gets the chance. If you want to achieve anything in life, you must stop giving fear a foothold. You must stop allowing hesitation to dictate your future. You must make the decision that from this moment on, you will act. The second you feel the pull, you will not overthink. You will not wait for the perfect moment. You will not hesitate and allow fear to talk you out of it. You will move. Because movement is the antidote to fear. Action is the cure for doubt, and hesitation is the poison that will kill your dreams if you let it. Fear thrives on hesitation. It grows in the space between thought and action. The longer you hesitate, the more powerful it becomes. But the moment you refuse to hesitate, the moment you decide that you will no longer entertain fear's lies, you take back control. You step into your power. You destroy the illusion that fear ever had any real control over you, and you become unstoppable. Courage is not something you are born with. It is not a trait that only a few special people possess. Courage is built. It is forged in the fires of action. It is the result of moving forward even when fear is screaming at you to stop. The greatest lie fear tells you is that you need to feel courageous before you act. But the truth is, you don't find courage and then act. You act, and that is what creates courage. The people you admire, the ones who seem fearless, are not fearless at all. They simply learn that courage is a muscle, and like any muscle, it only grows when you use it. Every great achievement in history was built on courage, but not the kind of courage people imagine, the dramatic, once-in-a-lifetime bravery that happens in movies. No, the real courage is built in the small moments. The moments when you decide to speak up instead of staying silent. The moments when you take a step forward instead of backing down. The moments when you push through discomfort instead of retreating to safety. That is where courage is built, and that is why it belongs to anyone who is willing to take action. Most people wait for courage to show up before they take the leap. They wait for a feeling of certainty, for fear to disappear. for some magical moment when they will suddenly be ready. But that moment never comes, because courage is not something that appears before action. It is something that is created through action. The first time you do something scary, you will feel afraid. Your heart will race, your mind will scream at you to stop, your body will resist. But if you push through, if you do it anyway, something powerful happens. You realize that you survived. You realize that fear was lying to you, and in that realization you gain courage. Courage is a skill, not a gift. It is something you develop by repeatedly doing the things that scare you. The first time you step out of your comfort zone, it will feel unnatural, even painful. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. The things that once terrified you become normal. The fears that once controlled you lose their power. What seemed impossible before now feels like second nature. That is how courage is built, not by thinking about it, not by hoping for it, but by acting over and over again until fear no longer has a say in your decisions. People who seem fearless have simply built their courage through repeated action. They have felt the same fear you feel, but instead of retreating, they stepped forward. They made a habit of confronting fear instead of avoiding it, and every time they did, their courage grew. That is the secret. There is no magic formula, no special technique, no shortcut. Courage comes from doing the thing you are afraid of, not once, not twice, but consistently until it no longer has power over you. The reason so many people stay stuck in fear is that they never take the first step. They believe they need to be confident before they act, but confidence is a byproduct of action. It does not come first. The first time you do something new, you will not feel confident. You will feel awkward, unsure, maybe even terrified. But if you do it anyway, if you keep pushing forward, confidence will come. And with confidence comes courage. But none of it happens if you do not take that first step. Think of a time in your life when you were afraid to do something, but you did it anyway. Maybe it was speaking in front of a group. Maybe it was asking for an opportunity. Maybe it was standing up for yourself. In that moment, fear was strong. It told you all the reasons why you should not do it. But you did it, and afterward you realized something important. It was not as bad as you thought. The fear had exaggerated the risk. The worst-case scenario never happened. And even if you stumbled, even if you failed, you learned that you could handle it. That moment built courage. And if you had repeated that action over and over again, the fear would have disappeared entirely. Now, think about the times you let fear stop you. The times when you hesitated, when you talked yourself out of taking action, when you let an opportunity slip away. What happened? Did waiting make the fear go away? Did delaying the decision make you more confident? No, the fear stayed, and in many cases it grew stronger, because that is what happens when you feed fear with inaction. It does not disappear, it expands. The only way to shrink fear is to confront it. Every time you take action in the face of fear, you weaken its grip on you. Every time you move forward despite the doubts, you strengthen your courage. And over time, courage becomes your default response instead of hesitation. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to realize that fear is nothing but an illusion. It is not real danger, it is just a feeling. And feelings do not control you unless you let them. The reason most people never develop courage is that they let their emotions dictate their actions. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until they feel comfortable. But courage is built by doing the exact opposite. By taking action even when you do not feel ready, by stepping forward even when you feel uncertain. That is how you break free from fear's grip. That is how you build unshakable confidence. The greatest enemy of courage is hesitation. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to act. The more you analyze, the more reasons you find to do nothing. That is why you must train yourself to act fast. When you feel fear, when you feel resistance, when your mind starts making excuses, that is your signal to move. Do not negotiate with fear. Do not give it time to grow. Move first, think later. Make courage your default setting, not fear. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not that successful people never feel fear. It is that they do not let fear decide their actions. They have trained themselves to move toward fear instead of away from it. They understand that the best things in life are always on the other side of fear. And they know that courage is not something you wait for. It is something you build, one action at a time. Think about the life you want, the goals you dream of, the person you know you can become. Now ask yourself, what is standing in the way? The answer is always fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of discomfort. But none of those fears are real. They are just stories your mind has created to keep you safe. Safe from what? From growth? from change, from stepping into your full potential. But safety is an illusion and comfort is a trap. If you stay where it is safe, you will never know what you are truly capable of. The only way to live the life you want is to kill the fear that is holding you back. And the only way to kill fear is with action, not with thinking, not with waiting, not with hoping, but with action. Every single day you must do something that scares you. Every single day you must push beyond your comfort zone, because courage is like a fire. It only burns if you keep feeding it. The moment you stop taking action, fear starts creeping back in. So you must make courage a habit. You must train yourself to act before fear has a chance to stop you. You must teach yourself that hesitation is the enemy and that movement is the solution. You must remind yourself that every great achievement, every success story, every person who has ever done something extraordinary did not wait for courage. They built it through action. And now, it is your turn. The time to act is now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready, right now. Every second you wait is a second wasted. Every moment you delay is a moment you will never get back. People live their entire lives waiting for the perfect time, the right circumstances, the right feeling. But that moment never comes. The only time you have is now. The only opportunity that is guaranteed is the one right in front of you at this very moment. The greatest mistake people make is believing that time is infinite, that they can afford to wait. But time is slipping away, second by second, minute by minute, day by day, and before you know it, years have passed, and the dreams you once had are nothing but distant memories of what could have been. The opportunities you ignored, the chances you did not take, the actions you delayed, they add up to a life of regret. And the worst part? None of it was necessary, because everything you wanted was always within reach. But you convinced yourself that waiting was the right decision. People wait because they believe that time will somehow make things easier. They think that if they delay, fear will disappear, circumstances will align, and the path will become clearer. But waiting does not eliminate fear. It magnifies it. Time does not create better conditions. It allows doubt to grow. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to move. The longer you hesitate, the more excuses your mind will create. Waiting is the fuel that feeds fear, and if you let it, fear will keep you waiting forever. Success belongs to those who act, not to those who plan endlessly, not to those who analyze every possible outcome, not to those who wait for the perfect conditions. Success comes to those who take action, even when they are uncertain, even when they are afraid, even when they do not have all the answers. Because action creates clarity, action creates momentum, action creates results. Nothing else matters. Every breakthrough, every achievement, every moment of greatness happens because someone chose to act when others hesitated. Someone chose to step forward when others stepped back. Someone decided that now was the time, not later, not when it was convenient, but now. And that decision changed everything. Think of all the times you have put things off, the goals you wanted to chase, the changes you wanted to make, the risks you wanted to take. You told yourself you would do it later. You told yourself you needed more time. But where did that time go? Did waiting bring you any closer to what you wanted? Or did it only create more distance between where you are and where you could have been? The reality is there is no later. There is only now. Every day you wait is a day you will never get back. Every opportunity you let slip away is an opportunity that may never return. You must decide right now that you will not let time control you. You will not let hesitation steal your future. You will not let hesitation steal your future. You will move forward, regardless of the obstacles, regardless of the uncertainty, regardless of the fear, because action is the only thing that matters. The mind will always find reasons to delay. It will tell you that you are not ready, that you need more preparation, that there will be a better time. But the mind is a liar. It is designed to keep you safe, not to make you successful. It wants comfort, not growth. And if you listen to it, you will spend your life in the same place, never moving, never evolving, never becoming the person you were meant to be. The people who win in life are not the ones who feel the most prepared. They are the ones who take action despite feeling unprepared. They are the ones who step forward while others are still thinking. They are the ones who understand that confidence does not come before action. It comes from action. If you wait until you feel ready, you will wait forever. Opportunities are not waiting for you. They are not sitting around hoping that one day you will decide to take them. They come and they go. And if you do not act, someone else will. If you do not step up, someone else will take your place. The world rewards those who move. It rewards those who seize the moment, who take risks, who refuse to wait, because those are the people who make things happen. Every great success story is built on action, not on perfect planning, not on ideal timing, not on luck, just action. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. They are simply the ones who did not wait. They are the ones who started before they were ready, who jumped before they had all the answers, who trusted that action would create the path, and they were right. Because action always leads to results. Think about it. Every major decision you have ever made, every significant change in your life, every time you stepped out of your comfort zone, was it because you finally felt ready? Or was it because you decided in that moment that you could not wait any longer? The truth is, action does not come from feeling ready. It comes from refusing to wait any longer. The most successful people in the world have the same doubts, the same fears, the same insecurities as everyone else. But they do not let those things stop them. They act anyway. They take the leap, they embrace the uncertainty, they trust that they will figure things out along the way, and that is why they succeed while others stay stuck. You have the power to change your life at any moment, not tomorrow, not someday. Now, you have the power to take action, to move forward, to create the future you want. But that power means nothing if you do not use it, if you sit back and wait, if you let fear control you, if you convince yourself that later is a better time, then you will never see the life you are capable of living. The time to act is not when you feel comfortable. It is not when everything makes sense. It is not when you have all the answers. The time to act is when fear tells you to wait. The time to act is when doubt tries to stop you. The time to act is when you feel uncertain, because that is the exact moment when action will change everything. Nothing will change until you decide to change it. Nothing will happen until you make it happen. Nothing will improve until you take the first step. And once you take that step, the next one becomes easier, and then the next. And before you know it, you are no longer waiting. You are moving, you are growing, you are achieving. This is your moment. This is your time. You do not have another life waiting for you. You do not have unlimited chances. You have now. And if you waste it, you will never get it back. So stop waiting, stop hesitating, stop making excuses. The time to act is now.